Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa with DIY with Melissa, and we are going to get into the cutest project ever. I did make these last year for my husband and my three brothers. Many of you on my socials have asked how I went about doing it, so today I'm showing you just that. And what it is this gorgeous frame, and it says, "World's Greatest Daddy. Anyone can be a father, but it takes a special person to be a dad." And it just has pictures of the kids within the letters of the name. This Y in particular was a little tricky to do. I'm going to show you all of that at the computer when we move over there in a second. But overall, it's really adorable. And I can tell you that the reactions that I got from the men in my life that I gifted it to was, there are no words to describe the reaction that I got. You can see the you can see that they were very much touched when they received this as a gift last year. Well, most of them. I didn't see my youngest one. He's in BC. So let's just get into it right now. We're going to start off in Cricut Design Space. I am also going to use Canva, and I'm going to show you all of that on the computer once we move over there. So see you at the computer in just a second. Okay, so we are back at our computer, and we're going to go through how I went about creating this design that you see up here. Firstly, the most important part is you're going to have to find pictures. You're going to have to find a few options of pictures, just because you're going to have to fill around to see if they fit in the letters or not. I will show you, I had quite a few uploads. So these are all the pictures that I pulled and used to test them with. I had some more up here. So you can see that's a lot more than, what's it, 5 letters, just because I needed to be able to test out the different options that would fit into the letters. So that was the first thing I did. I grabbed all the pictures, I uploaded them to Design Space and brought them into the canvas so I can start testing them out. The next thing I did, I found a font that I wanted to use to be able to do this design. The font I'm using is BFC Birthday Party, but you of course can use any font you like. I liked the look of BFC Birthday Party, and that's why I chose that. The next thing is you're going to have to decide, can you leave the letters open, especially the D's for daddy, or do we have to close them? And in this case, you're going to see that I did close them. For one of my brother's own, maybe 2 of them, I left the circle. It all depends on the picture, and how it's placed. So for instance, this picture could never fit in with the hole because the father in this picture would have been removed because of the center of the D, and the 2 children would have fit on either side of it. This one, I was able to keep the center of the A as is because the father and the daughter is sitting on either side of that center. And the same thing with these, they had to be removed. And this, I actually had to do something a little bit more in order to make this one work. We're going to go through all of that. So I'm going to bring my pictures in. Before I bring my pictures in, I brought the word daddy in. I'm going to ungroup the word, and I'm going to start filling these in. And how I filled them in, as you can see, contour is not an option. I am not sure if there's a way to make it, but I can figure it out. So I'm actually going to just go to shapes, grab a shape, and make it fit into the center like that. Once it looks good, there's no gaps, you can select both your letter and your shape. As you can see, the letter and the shape has been selected. We're going to go to combine, hit on that down arrow, and click on weld. And there it is. Oh, there's a little spot left. Let's just get one more. There we go. Now it's completely covered. Um, Instead of having to do the same thing with these, we can actually remove these off of our canvas and just duplicate this one. And there you go. So now we have our letters ready. We're going to bring our images in. So I had this one is the first D. This one is A, D, D, and then Y is up here. Your pictures come in. They're going to come in very large. So we'll just make them smaller. Okay, this is our first picture here. I'll make that smaller. And we're going to send this to the back, just like that. Resize your picture, ensuring that your letter sits in the entire picture. You don't want it to be off of your picture in any way. So let's say if I did it like this and I slice this, then it's going to slice this part here, which is not going to be a good situation. We want the picture to be completely, or the letter to be completely on the picture, just like that. We're going to select both the letter and the picture that I brought in. So you can see both of them have been selected, and we're going to click on slice. Wait for it to go, remove your excess, and delete. So we have our first letter complete. We'll move to the second letter, and we're going to send that to the back as well. Make it smaller. Looks pretty good right there. Select both and slice. Oops. Sometimes you might get a little extra bits. You can just delete it. Grab this one. So, like I said, we're doing the exact same thing for all of the letters. So that every letter has an image in it. Now I want to show you what I did with this. So, and I'm truly sorry to his grandma, but I do want just him and the girls to be in this image here. And what I did was I made the Y bigger, just like that. So the three of them will be on this side of the Y. But as you can see, we have this portion of the Y that's going to be cut off, which in this case, it's going to be fine. It was very difficult for me to find a picture for the Y with the two children. They were all not a good option, so I really had to play around with this one in order for it to work. And you can see this here kind of looks like the background, but we'll show you in a second what I did. So we're here. I'm going to select the two and slice. I'm going to delete this part and this. Oops, I'm not going to delete any of it. Sorry. We're going to keep this part for a second. We're going to delete this part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this portion on the image. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Just like that. Grab the two and slice. Now I have my extra piece here that can be added back to my design. Perfect. So because of the way this image is in the background, it's not really noticeable once you put everything together. Once I have that, I'm going to select both the extra piece and the rest of the letter and hit attach and flatten it. That way it is now ready to be printed and cut. Select everything, align vertically, and distribute. I do both. There we go. Then we're going to go to offset. I'm going to offset at 0.056, apply, just like that. And we will offset it one more time, apply. I want the second offset to be black. The first offset, I would like it white. There's your image, ready to be print and cut. Once you print and cut it, you'll put it together. The two offsets should not be print and cut. That could be a basic cut. Unless you don't have cardstock, then you can do print and cut. Same with the second one, it could be a basic cut as well. And what we'll be printing are just the letters with the photos within it. The last thing I did was I went to Canva, and that's where I actually created the background and I printed it from here. So I just went to Canva and I created a 8.5 by or 11 by 8.5 sheet, and I put the world's greatest daddy will sit in this blank area here. Anyone can be a father, but it takes a special person to be a dad. I printed this from Canva onto that kraft paper kind of looking cardstock, and that was the base that I then glued onto the frame, as you saw in my video. Okay, we have our project ready. We're going to go ahead and print and cut the letters for the project. I would just go in and take a measurement right across here. Let's show you. So I would do it about there to there. See what this measurement is for this line. It says 7.5 inches. That is what you're going to size your Cricut design at, about 7.5 inches. I did actually print it and then measure, and my measurements are saying about 8.5 inches. So again, this is totally up to you how you want your design to look. You can play around with it, whatever the case may be, just to get an idea of what measurement you want this. You do want this to be kind of standing out, as it is the portion of your project that is most important. And we're going to put this in like a 3D version. So you want it to be big enough that it stands out, but not too big that it can't fit into your frame. So just keep all of that in mind. If you have to play around with it, just maybe cut it on regular paper so you can get an idea and figure things out at that time. But lots of measuring, measure, 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 triple measure, double measure. It's just constantly measuring is what I feel like my life is sometimes. We're going to go ahead and hit make. For me, I am using a Cricut Maker 3, so I do have to say on mat. We'll go ahead and make and get you to this screen here. But because I have the Maker and you don't need a mat for all types of material, I do get that option. The page length is set to legal size. I want it on letter size because that's the size paper that I have. I would be printing this on cardstock, so I will change this to 8.5 by 11, a letter size paper. And I'm going to go ahead and hit print. So we'll hit send to printer. You're going to choose the printer that you have. The bleed. Typically I don't use bleed. And I think with this project, I did not use bleed. I turned this off. What bleed does is it gives you an extra space around the portion that you're cutting, so that you have no white lines when you're cutting out your design. My own is pretty well calibrated, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. The other thing you can do is use system dialog box. I normally keep this off. I will turn it off just to show you what it does. So I'm going to turn that on to show you what it does. So we'll turn that on and we'll hit print. So if you turn your system dialog box on, then the dialog box shows up. So when you hit print in like Word or PDF or whatever, this box ends up showing up. This allows you to change your print preferences, however you want to. The major thing would be you want to make it the best. Quality settings should be best if you choose that. However, I find when I don't use a dialog box, the way it prints, the normal way it prints is fine for me. I'll put on best right now and click OK and hit print. We'll let that print. So as you can see, it's now in our Cricut maker. I have printed all of the images and I'm going to go ahead and get this cut. Start that. Cricut, of course, has to read the registration marks, which is what it's doing right now. Our letters are now cut. Now, here's a tip for you. Before clicking the arrows on the mat, just lift up a corner of your cardstock and ensure that it actually cut through everything. Ooh, right on the nose. I don't know if you can see that. Woo. Again, we'll lift it and also cut like butter. I'm actually not going to recreate the entire project, but I will give you an idea. I will go ahead and put this together. I glued the pictures to the white portion, and then I used these raised cubes to put the white portion onto the black portion and then the black portion onto the background. Once everything was set, I then glued, actually, sorry, I didn't put this on until I glued this portion onto my frame. I put just some regular white glue onto the frame, glued it down, and then I just cut the edge to fit the frame. Okay, so let's do that over. I did put the picture part, I used those raised cubes for. I glued the white to the black, and then I used the raised cubes for the black portion. So that's what I ended up doing with that. Once everything is glued and you've used the raised cubes, you have this. Your frame just goes on top, and voila, your project is complete. How simple was that? So that was an easy project, right? Don't forget, give it a try. Make it for that special someone this year in your life for this Father's Day. It's super simple. Look at how many little bits there are for this. There's not a lot. There's the word daddy 3 times, glued, and using those little raised squares to put this all together to make this guy. So simple, such a nice gesture for that special someone. Make sure to make it today. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so you're notified when I post a new video. I hope you all have a fabulous week. Happy crafting. Bye now.